So that wasn't the last thing, apparently. I want to talk about something that has been brought to my attention called TDA, Transfer Fund Direct. TDA, Transfer Fund Direct. That makes a lot of sense. TFD? The acronym's got to match the words, right? Does it? Maybe not. So, transfer funds direct. I don't even know if that's what it was called. Something like that. But the idea is that every one of us has a Federal Reserve fund set up for us that has been hidden the whole time. That has however much money available for us, to whoever discovers this fact. And that anybody who's living in poverty is doing so out of ignorance. That's the basic premise, okay? I've heard of this before. I've looked into it briefly years ago and decided against even investigating because of the family situation, and it required too much of a risk to the family for me to try something like that. Now the risk will be less to an extent, and it also appears in more of a palatable form rather than secret, like semi scamish. But okay, anyway, aside from all that, I just wanted to say a few words on the premise and a word of caution. Not caution, but my idea on whether it works or not. If you take the video game idea, if you take the simulation idea, then, sorry, you just got to deal with that blinding white sun. If you take that idea and the fact that, and if you have looked at my last video, which was explaining how the video game was designed terribly if you have to basically slave the whole game to get enough credits to survive and not have any left over for fun, which is what this system appears to be from the get-go, unless, you know, you're wealthy or whatever. I'm just gonna ignore these rides because I want to finish this. So on the video game premise, if you finally find that you have access to basically gameplay tokens, just randomly you find out that, yeah, those were available all the time, I just didn't know about it, okay? That's good. That's a good thing. As far as does it work or not, okay, since this is a complicated video game, this isn't just you press a button and you have a menu, and it's not as easy as that. So these methods aren't just going to work off the bat. They're going to work for some people, and they're going to work sometimes, and it's not always going to be predictable. But I would say the number one factor in whether or not this works for you and whether or not it sustains, i.e. doesn't crash out, or you don't have somebody trying to investigate you, or whatever the case, whatever the negative possibilities are from attempting to do this, okay, if you can, okay, aside from all that, I'm trying to remember what I was trying to remember. Okay, so say you have $1 billion that's been, you know, worth of tokens, gameplay tokens for this realm that you just didn't know about. Now you know about them. People are saying, okay, do this, this, and this. You have them. Okay, here's the thing. Go away, Kevin. Here's the thing. Okay? Since this is a belief-oriented realm, if you have no problem accepting a realm where you forgot as a video game player that tokens were available, and you just remembered, okay, you have no problem remembering. If you have no problem with that concept and living that concept out, then it will work, okay? In other words, if you don't get the $1 billion in your account and then have a heart attack because your belief system can't handle it, you see what I'm saying? Or you don't get your $1 billion in your account and have a heart attack because you're afraid, you know, some police are gonna come banging down your door just because it just feels like, you know, what the fuck, how could I have this? You know, like, the police have to be coming after me after I do this. Okay, so if you can get past that, if you can have that $1 billion land in your account and your heart doesn't just explode because, you know, you're like, oh my God, you know, I have all this money. Okay, then you'll have it. And, you know, you do what you do. But if you can't handle that, if you can't handle whatever amount of tokens you're getting, money, dollars, it's all interchangeable, then, okay, this is another thing. If you go back to Ogg's video, most recent one, the civilization simulation, then he was saying, since people are normally programmed the whole way, and most don't deviate, except for the ones who are already in the know. Okay, the ones who already understand what's going on, their deviation is standard, so they're not deviating either. So, but it's when somebody comes from the bottom levels and starts like looking around and gets some magnificent, unique thought, and then, you know, goes and just, like, I don't know, anything that's out of the norm, you know, just stops his car in the middle of the freeway, jumps out, you know, takes all his clothes off and starts ghost riding the whip, you know, and he's not on drugs. That kind of idea is gonna, as Ogg said, is gonna trip Big Brother sensors system that reads for these kind of mind solar flares, and they're gonna know that they're gonna know your personal situation, and they're gonna know if you're gonna cause a scene or not. They're gonna know if you're gonna disrupt for all the other players. They're gonna know if, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna know if you can handle it or not. And if you can't handle it, then once you get your tokens in, those tokens are gonna disappear out, just like that. So it's all related to whether or not you can handle receiving gameplay tokens. And don't think you're hiding from anybody, because you're not. Everything is known. So that's that. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna personally look into it, because I can only drive around anonymous passengers in exchange for pretend money for so long. So I will look into it. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Take care, everybody.